Gal OKC Thunder. Shai, it seemed like you guys got open layup after open layup tonight. What was the key offensively to just generating so many clean looks?
Played the right way for the most part. Played together, played to our strengths. Sorry. Yeah, we're a team that we like to touch the paint. When we do, we're the best versions of ourselves. We knew that coming into tonight, and we just tried to do so.
Mark said that the cutting was really outstanding tonight, guys. Taking opportunities. What did you notice as a guy that was racking up a lot of assists?
Guys were ready to play and ready to attack offensively. A lot of times it's like teams try to make me play in the crowd, and getting off it and having the guys be aggressive and make the right next play. It only makes it easier for all of us out there. And they were ready tonight, and they did a great job of it.
This is the 11th game you guys have played against a team with a losing record. You're 10-1. I just wonder what goes into taking those games, approaching those games the right way.
We don't play the record. There's 29 teams in this NBA that are really good and can beat anybody on any night. That's how we approach it. Yeah.
Shai, I believe you're just the second basketball player to win the Northern Star Award and the first since Steve Nash. Kind of what has it been like for you to see basketball transform in Canada since 2005 whenever Nash won it? And what do you hope still progresses in basketball for Canada since you've won it?
Yeah, it's a good feeling. There's so many guys that come before me that I want to thank. I kind of laid the foundation for me to kind of excel how I have coming from Canada. But yeah, it's an honor, obviously, just to represent the country and be noticed by the country where I got raised. It's a great feeling and it's an honor.
It's your 10th game with 3 or more steals this season. Coming into the season, was being an All-NBA defender one of your goals?
It was one of my goals a couple years ago. Like I like wrote it down and stuff. But I kind of had stopped doing that, and I kind of just like focused on every play, offensively and defensively. Like I try to just focus on impacting the game, being in the right spots defensively, and then just trusting my instincts on defense, and then the same thing offensively. So I kind of got away from goals and just taking it possession by possession.
Have you seen a change in your game since stop writing those goals down?
A little bit. It keeps me more in the moment, more present, and it kind of helps me like stay focused throughout the possessions and the games and stay more engaged.
Just like with the Athletic, you uncharacteristically banked a mid-range shot in the first quarter. Is that something you're working on?
Nah, it's just an angle that I was at, and I figured I could use it.
Okay.
Shai, 7 assists tonight. You're doing a great job of keeping your teammates involved. Is there any challenge to hit those wide open guys or keep the ball moving when you can really get to any spot you want at any time?
It's not really. I wouldn't say it's a challenge. It's just like I feel like every great scorer has to deal with finding the balance, and it's something that I always try to like critique myself on, and something that I always try to like get better at. I feel like I can always get better at it. But yeah, it's something that I focus on for sure, and I can feel myself getting better at.
And following up on that, when you're going into a game, we've seen you just have these like bursts in the first quarter where you score a bunch of points, other times where you're really getting guys involved. Is it something where you're like feeling out the game as you go, or is it something where you see something on tape or talk to the coaches of this is how I kind of want to approach the game?
Yeah, most of it's just feel. I just play off my instincts, take what the defense gives me. Yeah, most of it's just feel.
For the most part, you guys control the game, but did get ragged. Is that a conscious effort to keep playing the right way, or is it just coaching? What is it? I mean, 'cause sometimes games when they get to be big leads, guys start playing out of character.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. Conscious effort and coaching. They came in at halftime and said that. And us as a team, we also wanted to make sure that we were building the right habits moving forward, no matter what the score was.
Trey, Aaron mentioned this morning that there was a time earlier in your guys' career where I guess you weren't as noticed for your defense, and he kind of told you once, like, yo, like when you really can guard, like, or when you really put your mind to it, you can guard. Just, do you remember that kind of shift in mindset or approach to where it became like beyond notice, like it just permanent?
Yeah, I don't think there's a specific moment. In my career, like I started out as a defender, like when I was really young, and then, like when I got to Kentucky, how I got on the floor was defense at first, and then same thing coming to the NBA, like how I got on the floor was playing defense, and then once my body filled out a little bit, and I got smarter defensively, I figured out ways to be effective defensively, I think. So it's just like a growing process and me trying to get better same way offensively.
Yeah, and you mentioned way back when writing down all defense as part of your goals.
Mm-hmm.
Now that you mentioned, I'm curious, what were some of the other goals you were writing down?
Everything you could think of, all-stars, MVPs, championships. Those at the top of my head. I really want to be one of the best to ever play, so like that's the goal.
Going back to Andrew's question, whenever you saw that angle, did you call bank?
No, I didn't, but I knew it was good.
Thanks. Oh, go ahead. Last one, Derek. Go ahead.
Shai, you guys are 15-7, and I know that the team as a whole likes to say you go into it with a 0-0 mentality, but do you reflect at all on 15-7? I mean, that's got to feel good, or is it still head down mentality?
Yeah, we every 10 games we do like a recap, and we see what we're doing good, see what we're doing bad. Try to continue to do the good things and cut out the bad things. But yeah, it's always day by day for us. We always no game in no period of time is perfect. So whatever we need to fix, we try to fix and make a conscious effort to do so.
Nick Gallo, OKC Thunder. Chet, you guys had so many wide open layups tonight. Mark said a lot of that was due to the cutting. What did you see out there on the floor in that regard?
Yeah, we were getting a lot of good looks at the rim for a lot of different reasons. In the second half, a lot of it was started with defense, getting out in transition, and just having numbers. In the half court, a lot of it was, playing on the catch and beating one guy and forcing them to help put two on the ball, and then, somebody's going to be open somewhere. And that happened to be the dunker on a lot of plays. And those are high efficiency shots for us. So, we got to continue to try and create those situations.
And then just how about the jolt that Ooze gave you guys tonight, particularly coming off of being with the G League, and he really seemed to be on the gas right away?
No, that's big time. You always need kind of I don't know exactly the word, but throughout the season you need guys to step up and have nights like Ooze had tonight, and that's credit to him. He's a good player. He works hard, and we see it every day in the gym. So it's not surprising to us. I'm happy that he had a good outing tonight.
Chet, you guys are 10-1 against teams with records under 500, and every team will say like we take everybody seriously, but there's a key. They're saying it and doing it. I just wonder what about you guys you think makes you take those games so seriously?
I'd say it's less of taking those games seriously and taking every game serious. We come out with the same. It doesn't matter who we're playing. At the end of the day, we're fighting with ourselves to try and be the best Thunder team that we can be, and I feel like that's a testament to that. We're not taking anybody lightly. This is the NBA. Anybody can beat anybody on a given night. So, we come out with that mindset and try to get better every night.
And then you made a couple of threes tonight. You hadn't been shooting the ball very well from through the last few games. I don't know if there was anything. Did you see anything in the shots you were getting or what you were doing or anything?
Nah, I think I was like 0 for 12. I had like a stretch where I was like 0 for 12 or something. It might have been more than that, but I hit one in the Warriors game, so I'm hot now.
Andrew Schlecht with The Athletic. It's been a quarter of the season. I'm just curious, like, what have you learned about your game, playing all these different opponents?
I got a long way to go.
Chet, you made a habit of those two-hand blocks and a lot of blocks where you keep it in bounds. Is that something that you just kind of developed over time? Is that something that you got from like a parent or a coach growing up?
I'd say a combination of everything, and you can't really pinpoint it to any one thing. I guess it's just kind of something that's it kind of happens naturally, I guess, and it's worked. So try to keep it going.
Are there any extra challenges when you're going up for a block to keep it in bounds? And are there any scenarios where you really need to like send it and can't really risk keeping it in bounds?
Some of them, a lot of times it just comes down to the play and how I'm positioned versus the shooter. Usually, if I'm coming down towards the basket and they're driving from the wing or whatever, it's easier to keep it in bounds because you have the backboard there. And coming up on somebody driving straight down is easier because you have the whole court. You can't really throw it out of bounds towards your own basket. So the tough ones are like the kind of mid-range area along the wing where you're kind of facing the sideline. Those are tough ones, but usually it just kind of happens naturally.
I know a lot of this just comes with basketball, but going back to the stretch of three-point shooting, as someone who has been praised early for your efficiency, just what have you learned about kind of the ebbs and flows and maybe about sustainability as a shooter at the NBA level?
Just understanding that you're not gonna make every shot. Steph misses shots. Dame misses shots. Like everybody who is like one of the greatest shooters in the NBA misses shots. So you can't let that affect the next shot, and you can't let that allow you, or that you can't make a missed shot kind of lead into a bad shot. You know what I mean? Like taking a bad one's not gonna help you find your rhythm. So I've just tried to take the right ones, take what the game's given to me, and just be aggressive within that at the same time. And I work hard on my shot every day, so I know it's gonna come back around.
Kind of a follow-up to the long ways to go comment. You've been so immediately good in so many areas. What are kind of some of the bigger things that you are working on in the short term?
In the season, a lot of the stuff is little things, timing things, X's and O's things, key points of focus more than like, I want to work on my pull-up going left. Like in the season, it's hard to do like major additions and changes, and like I'm not like I want to completely change my shot. It's like super small things. Have a better attention to detail on rebounding, and being able to read the floor better. When I catch at the elbow or whatever it might be. It's a lot of small details, more so than kind of the big changes right now. The off season is where you really sculpt your game in a big way.
Chet, so far this season, Kaysen's been the one to slide in every time that maybe one of the starters goes down with an injury here and there. And it seems like you guys, of course, really trust him and like to play with him. What's it been like just seeing him step up as a rookie?
It's been great. He's a great player, and we love playing with him. He's a tough guy, too. He sticks his nose in every battle, and, he makes big plays, winning plays. And, it's always fun playing with dudes like that, that they have your back, so you want to have theirs, So that's kind of the dynamic, and I look forward to playing with him for the rest of the year, and anytime he starts with us, we're happy to have that lineup.
Gallo, OKC Thunder. Ooze, offensively, the ball just really moved easily tonight. You guys got a ton of open layups. What was the key in that that you saw?
I think just finding cuts and just share the ball. That was fun to play like that, and that's easy when the balls move. So that was good.
And then defensively, you guys were able to once again force turnovers, get out in the open floor. You went to some zone. You get a big rebound off of that. Just tell me about the defensive approach tonight.
We were in zone sometime. Just like different together, like 5 on defense, and the rotation, everybody on the shell, like a tight shell, and that was the key.
Mark just talked about your time, back in the G League, kind of validating That process of going back and forth, what you did tonight, just what do you feel that time you spent with the Blue did for you, maybe related specifically to tonight?
I think that was a good time with the Blue. Give me confidence and some minutes, and like they wanted me to play like I would play here with the Blue. So I think that was good for me, and like today I had to show like the progress I made, and like the progress I made. So that was good.
Yeah, Andrew Schleck with The Athletic. What's the season been like for you so far? You've kind of been bouncing back and forth, minutes here. You get a lot of play tonight, but just like overall, like what's the season been like for you?
Oh yeah, like you said, I've been back and forth, so I'm just trying to approach day by day and play out every time I got an opportunity to play. So yeah, that's it.
You talked about the fact that they want you to play the same way here with the Thunder tonight that you did with the Blue. Is that something that's been a conversation for a while? Is that something you got recently of just how they wanted you to approach tonight?
It was just it was just a conversation. I want to play like I play here too, so there's no difference between both teams. So yeah, that was just a all-around conversation.
Did you know you were going to get in early in the first quarter, or any idea when?
Not really. I'm just ready when the coach called me, and that's it.
When you obviously played well with the Blue, did you feel that that would lead to more minutes with the Thunder?
Like I said, not really. I knew I was gonna be back with the team, but I didn't know how much I'm gonna play and how many minutes I'm gonna play. I'm just ready whenever the coach called me to just play hard and compete.
What was your confidence level coming tonight?
You said what?
Your confidence level, what was that going tonight?
Oh, it was good. I feel like I'm always confident in me. I know what I can do and what can I bring to the table.
Cam's talked a lot about with the Blue, you were playing in shorter spurts with them, trying to get prepared for this. And so with that change, how does it feel for you to kind of play in those different spurts now compared to how you were last year with the Blue, playing in those shorter spurts now with OKC?
Like I said, I feel like I'm playing with the Thunder. Like I'm not going to play 20 minutes in a row here. So that's what we're doing with the Blue, and I think that really helped me.
Gal, OKC Thunder. What did you think of just the way your team came out tonight and particularly kind of opened and then closed that first quarter to set a tone?
Yeah, I thought, we obviously played well in large parts of the first half and then had a great third quarter. So stacked possessions in a good part of the game. Obviously it wasn't a perfect game, but played pretty well, took care of business.
And, offensively, you're talking about stacking possessions. It just seemed like the assists kept flowing and flowing, wide open layups that you were creating. What was the key to generating all of those with your ball movement?
I mean, a lot of the layups were cuts. I thought the guys did a really good job of taking cuts tonight, both in the action and off ball. And, when teams load up the way that Utah was loading up on us, they can't do both. They can't load on the ball and then also take away the cutting. So I thought we did a really good job, especially in the first half. We were able to generate, I think, 10, 12 points just on that.
Mark, we talked about this a little bit at Portland, but Will Hardy was talking about before the game, that everybody talks about you guys and how young you are, but that you have a very mature approach. He thinks the way you played those first three quarters, did that show you that approach again?
Yeah, I thought, there were times where we left something to be desired there, and it didn't necessarily burn us tonight, but, we could have been a little tighter at times tonight in the second quarter, at times even in the third. But generally, I thought we stacked a lot of good possessions. I thought we played together, on both ends of the floor tonight, and that's encouraging. And I thought we got better tonight. We just have to use all these games to continue to improve.
Mark, we talked a lot this year about, just Dub as it relates to their second unit being that primary, and him navigating that process of, playmaking, scoring, but being the head of that unit, just what does that do as it relates to when he slots back into the starting or closing group?
I'm not sure I'd totally look at it like that. I just think, everybody's got their own style of play. His happens to be his on-ball style of play, which happens in both units, probably happens more in that unit, to your point, and then an off-ball style of play in terms of moving and cutting. The thing that's a luxury with him is he's potent in both. You can move him all over the floor, and he's improved in both, and so continues to do a nice job. I thought he was really on the gas tonight. He was really aggressive coming into the game, which I thought was encouraging, especially off that Golden State game. We need him to do that. and keep his foot on the gas, because when he gains advantages, he makes the right plays. He finds the right passes, gets his teammate involved, penetrates the defense. There's a lot of reasons why that's good for us.
Yeah, and you talked before the game about lineups being fluid. Just it feels like Meechis is part of that group that can, slot in at any time depending on the situation. Just what did you see ahead of tonight's game that maybe felt like it was a Meechis day?
It wasn't anything immediate before tonight's game. It's more, those guys, it's one of the invisible things about the NBA, but if you're a non-rotation player, if you're not playing every night, you have to put a lot of work in to keep yourself sharp and to keep yourself ready. And that work is coming with no immediate gratification. Like you're having to put the work in on the hope that you get your number called. And we've got a group of guys there that have done a great job there. So, we played Lindy against the Lakers. We played Bertans against Dallas. Played Trey against Houston. Played Vasa tonight. And a lot of it's just rewarding those guys for their readiness and their professionalism and giving them an opportunity to touch the outcome of the game. And I thought he did a really nice job for us there.
Intersect with the Athletic, Dieng got an extended look tonight. Has kind of been in and out of the G League and then back here. Just thoughts on his night tonight and then maybe his overall development.
I think it validates the time he spent in the G League. He played 4 games in a very short period of time. That's why we sent him there, was the volume of games he could get in just a week. And he's a better player. He came back obviously very sharp, from that experience. I thought in most of the minutes he played there, he really competed, and was banging on the door a little bit. And, when guys go there and do that, we want to reward him with opportunity. And he took advantage of it tonight. I thought he was ready to play from the jump. Obviously, played with a lot of confidence. I thought it really sent a good message about what you can get out of the blue.
This might be the most comfortable Josh has looked all season. What did you see from him tonight?
He's looked comfortable at other times. I just want to make sure with the Josh questions that I'm fact checking like before the game. This wasn't the first time he's been comfortable. He played well tonight. I think one of the things for him that he's getting into the game or learning right now, we talk all the time about players having to evolve. And most of the time we talk about that, like with the dub questions, it's on ball and it's creation. But he's having to evolve right now with the way he's getting played off ball, and I thought tonight he did a nice job of that. He found some cuts. He had really good ball movement plays. He's made good passes in the middle of the floor. That's something we've adjusted to. He had a really good offensive rebound that came off a cut, and he had some good cuts against Golden State as well. And when he's getting played like that by his man, finding some cuts, keeping them honest with the cutting, I think is important, and he started to tick that up here in the last couple games. That's been good for him. But I thought that ignited him a little bit. It kept our offense moving. He did a nice job.
What do you think of the third quarter? You up? Pretty much had control of the game at halftime. The third quarter, you really stepped on the gas.
Yeah, we talk all the time about stacking possessions, and that's the solution regardless of the game circumstance. If it's a tie game at halftime, you got to stack them in the third. If you're up 14, you got to stack them in the third. If you're down 14, you got to stack them in the third. That's always the solution. I thought the groups that were out there in the third quarter tonight did a great job of that.
What did you think of the interior passing?
I thought we really moved it tonight. I thought the cutting helped with that. I think every time you cut somebody, that person could be open, but if they're not, it collapses the defense. It makes perimeter reads easier. I thought tonight was one of our better cutting games we've had in a long time. It was a sophisticated attack against that team, in particular with the way that they help. And then the guys shared it. Had a great mentality in terms of just finding the best shot regardless of circumstance. I thought Chet in particular was really good there. He didn't force tonight.
Mark, you mentioned the 4 games in a quick succession for Oos. Given your experience in the G League, do you think you have a different approach from a lot of other teams where I know you guys just kind of view it as getting some extra work, where other teams, a guy gets sent to the G and you can see fans talk about it being a demotion or anything like that. You guys seem to really relish in getting guys more work.
It's an organizational approach. It's not necessarily mine. And I don't know what other teams look at it as, but we look at every single player as a developmental player, regardless of where they are in their career, what they need to work on, whether they're in the every night rotation, 30-minute players, if it's Shai, or if it's, the guy that has played the least amount of minutes, whoever that is on our team. We have to use the resources we have to develop, and the Blues a huge resource, especially for our younger players.
Mark, Aaron talked about this at shoot-around earlier today, but just, having been in that seat where, teams are sitting guys against a team kind of like the Jazz tonight. Obviously, guys didn't see anybody, but that's happened to them, of course, this year. They've kind of been in that position. They're 12th in the standings. Just have you seen, past experiences like those, kind of affect the approach of some of these guys on this team?
I'm sorry.
Just like, being a team that teams sat guys against.
Teams have sat guys against us.
Yeah, in recent years.
I think they were hurt. I think the guys that were out tonight have legitimate injuries.
No, I mean,
I'm sorry. I'm not tracking.
Yeah, just
could be me.
Having been a team that teams don't necessarily view as maybe good enough to where you can rest some guys, like having been in that seat, just has that. Have you seen that in players affect their approach when you play a team like the Jazz tonight that looks maybe like what you used to look like?
I mean, we were 0-0. We were 0-0 coming into today, and regardless of who your opponent is or what they're doing, you have to. It's 0-0 when the ball goes up, and so I thought our guys did a great job of that tonight, and we'll be 0-0 again when we wake up tomorrow.